Welcome everybody to our November board meeting. Clerk, roll call.
Trustee Prosser. Here. Ball.
Here.
Sewell. Crowe.
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Here.
Here.
Okay, we'll start with public comment. Please just keep your comments less than 5 minutes, 5 minutes or less, and just step to the podium, state your name and where you're from. Anyone? Going once, twice? Oh,
I always feel like I'm like court or something, sort of thing. Rachel Dye, live in Collinsville. So I don't have any prepared statements. I just wanted to ask some questions to get a better idea how some things work and might also benefit other people. And the second part is just like a random idea that I don't know if the townships would be interested in, but like, oh, that might be kind of a cool thing. So you could take it, talk about it further, because you wouldn't be able to talk about it here. So with FOIAs, just checking in on those, because I know you guys get a ton. It seems like FOIA Palooza from what I picked up at the township. So I know typically there's 5 business days, then obviously there's, depending on the request, it can be 5 more. I mean, in business days, not weekends. So it could be up to 10 if it's not commercial. So do we have an idea, I know we would maybe know the correct numbers, but do we have like through October 24th, that's more than 10 business days ago. Do we have an idea of how many FOIAs through October 24th are still pending to be answered at this point?
We'll answer that.
Oh,
I'll answer
okay,
that.
after, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so that would be a question just to
Yeah,
see how
I'll
we're,
write it down.
okay, cool. How we're progressing with that. And then some other questions to get a better understanding. I know a lot of it sometimes has the IT guy tied in, so I was wondering, obviously I always think video with that, but I'm assuming they might also do like email, what's the other component? Anything with phones, I don't know, with FOIA with that, so I wanted to know more about, if you could explain like the role the IT guy plays, and then how long it typically takes to get him engaged. Just so we have a better understanding of like, if FOIAs take longer, why, what is the typical pattern? I also had a question about the lawyers' involvements with the FOIAs. I know that's going on to, I think, the 2nd month. And I know that was kind of a temp thing, even though there are people that are FOIA trained, and I know the reasonings for that. Just if there is a time frame on that, how long we anticipate that going. And then clarification, I know that was a free service, correct? Because we were told it would not be something that the township is paying for, but I find that a little confusing that a lawyer's office or a lawyer's just doing something completely free. So I didn't know how that was working, or if, I mean, I'm sure paralegals or somebody within the lawyer's law firm is probably doing some paperwork with it, which would be normal. That's what lawyers like do. That's part of lawyers' work. Which, if the lawyers are paying their own people, that's fine, but also at the same time, we're not paying them to do the service. So I guess it's up to the lawyers if they wanna do, but I also know, we also don't wanna overuse our lawyer. So, and I find it odd that if he's getting routine business from the township, that he's routinely doing free FOIAs for us. So just some clarification on that, and also, and I know you're gonna do this as soon as you can, but getting back to a regular FOIA officer, I know Jim may not be able to do it, but whoever that might be, when we can get away from a lawyer, because I think for transparency and how it works with the government, it only seems it's best to do that when you can transition back as soon as possible. I know that may not be feasible right now, but probably a good idea, just for the sake of how things go. So there's random FOIA stuff. I don't have anything else specific about that. My other question, and this is one that I would just wonder how many people, because I've seen just with SNAP, you know, we're all familiar with what's going on in the public and everybody's, you know, situation financially and things. We know general assistance is a big thing with the township. I would like each member on the board to share if they have themselves ever been as an adult on medical card, and if they have ever been on food stamps. If you haven't, great, wonderful. Because I'm trying to get an understanding of when we make decisions regarding general assistance, what kind of personal experiences we bring to the table in that decision making. Not saying a negative, but just like what kind of lived experiences do we have? If we don't have them, that's okay, because not everybody's gonna have that. But one thing I was thinking as an idea, it'd be kind of cool if maybe the township would consider, don't know what you guys would call it, committee, whatever, bringing in some people who actually are on general assistance of different backgrounds, different races, different, there's disabilities, people with disabilities, there's senior citizens, different, probably voting things too, like voting parties or whatever, but bring them in as a constituent group you can consult with as you make general assistant decisions. The reason I say that is not because there's anything bad that I see or concerning, right, that I have concern with right now with the township or anything. I just think it helps to have that viewpoint, especially if you've not had that lived experience. Also don't know if there's any training that the township receives regarding poverty, the psychology of poverty, the mindsets, the systematic impact of poverty. I don't even know if that's a normal part for any township, but it would maybe be helpful because there are a lot of biases and a lot of, unfortunately, people's personal opinions about what goes into those situations for people.
If you could.
And, okay, thank you, I didn't have a timer, thank you. So, none of those are bad things, it just would be cool to see an effort to gain whatever knowledge isn't had and maybe implement that in a way working with the people. May or may not be a good thing, maybe a stupid idea, but just wanted to throw it out there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Once, twice, so, okay. We'll move on. Got a pretty big agenda tonight. First response to that public comment. I'll take just a couple, and then if you want to jump in, and then if anybody else wants to jump in. But just as far as how many FOIAs still exist, I know of, sometimes Bill will reach out to me when he needs something from me, from one of my staff members or whatnot. And so I just got one, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about the bus logs. And so I emailed right when I got that. I still haven't received that, so hopefully I'll have that tomorrow or whatnot. But I'll just talk more broadly about, I don't see all the FOIAs come in. I know that there's one still out about a lot of emails from 4 different emails. My thing is, I don't know if, it's been a problem. Maybe Jim, you can kind of speak on this, and Bill, but so our IT guy has also done us a really good job as far as not charging probably what he could and what he should. There's many times that he does not charge us to pull video and to pull emails, things like that. But I've told him multiple occasions that it's not about the cost. I need these by law. And it has been a struggle. And I don't know, you guys know, I will call, I will email, and I don't get a response sometimes. And so I've been trying to find a new IT guy. I don't want to get rid of the one because he's good at what he does. It's just, I don't know if he understands the FOIA process. And maybe he thinks, well, this is silly, what do I need? But it doesn't matter what the request is, you just have to fulfill it, right? And so I've been working hard with that, but how should I say? I don't know how to get into our systems to do it, to tell somebody else how to do it. They need to get with him. And so then I would say, hey, can you meet me here on Monday? And then he wouldn't show, or, and so to train a new IT guy with the passcodes so I can hire somebody new. So that's the direction that I'm gonna have to go if things don't change. And that's been the holdup, a lot of it. And as far as cost, again, when we say free, and I think the way it got confused, and this happened during the election, and I want to be I think it's best to be straight up honest. We got a big FOIA request back in March and it wasn't even a FOIA request, it was just a request from an actual trustee. And he wanted every single transaction for the last 4 years in every single account. All right, that's something that I went to my manager, and that was just like, it was overwhelming because we have transactions every single day of interest okay? And so I went to FCB Bank, and I said, can you do this for us? And they said, oh my gosh, and they looked at every single account, and they said, listen, this is gonna take this many hours, this many copies, and they gave me an estimate it was like $1,000. I gave that to Jim, and it got back to the trustee, and somehow it was like I was trying to charge. I was not. I was trying to fulfill his request, okay? And so as far as cost, that was on our end. On your end, there's no cost. It is, I think the law is, what is it? You get 50 pages for free, and then
Yeah, if you're talking about actual physical cost.
actual cost to
Physical
them.
cost.
There's two different costs. There's cost to the folks, the residents, and then there's our cost for the taxpayers. But on the cost of them, they get so much for free. They get like,
If you're talking about physical copies, yeah, there's a sort of a schedule for what you can charge for actual
right.
paper copies of whatever. Most of the requests are electronic.
Right, and
so
we've
that's-
tried to do them for free for you guys. On our end though, as we all know, nothing is completely free. I will say that I think that he's done a great job in keeping his costs very low and really hasn't charged, so if you wanna speak to that.
Yeah, our time does get billed to the township. I think what was, in a few meetings ago when this came up, the question was whether or not the requester would have to, pay for our time going into it. It gets billed to the township the same way anything else would. So not directly, I guess, like the taxpayers as a whole pay for that service. But you're not paying, I'm not handing you a bill saying, I spent 2 hours on this or anything like that. That just would get billed to the township in its normal manner. There have been, trying to think when I started doing it, I think there were like 6 or 7 that were older FOIA requests outstanding at that point. I think right now, there's 2 that are old, as in, that are electronic, and then there have been 2 newer ones since then that I don't think are over the 10-day, like one just came in Monday. So we're trying to whittle them down, and part of that has been, I've been having conversations with the IT guy as well, about some of this stuff and trying to see if I can, pare some of it down and make it simpler, or if I have multiple requests that are very similar, I sort of broaden it, so he doesn't redo it 3 times, and then I'll just, all of you can have this, and it'll be bigger than what you asked for, but that way I'm knocking it all out at one time, that type of thing. And we've had discussions about, whether he can just, show one of us how to do it, so that we don't have to try to nag him to get a response on some of those things. But I think in terms of older FOIAs, I think it's whittled down to 2 now. I'm hoping that, it's one of those things that, for the most part, a lot of them, I don't necessarily even spend that much time with them. There are certain things that have to be reviewed, like a lot of the requests that are for video footage, like especially exterior video footage, other than making sure it works and is what the request was for. I don't sit there and watch that or anything, because there would be no reason to. It's publicly available, footage of the public street or whatever it may be. So it's not like I have to sit there and watch it or anything like that. Things like emails, I may have to flip through it, but most of those, it's easier to tell what you need to look for, and so it's not like I'm sitting there, every word dissecting it or anything. Most of them you can look at and kind of tell what it is if it's something that would need to be redacted. Trying to think if there were any other FOIA. Pretty much every request that comes in is electronic. So we respond through electronic means. I think there was one about a month ago that actually wanted paper copies of something. There was no charge for that because it was, I think, 4 or 5 pages, something printed out, so.
All right, and then I do want to address GA just a little bit, because there is still a misconception of what it is, because it sounds like general assistance. And I always even, thought, okay, the senior center, that's general assistance. What we do in here for all the seniors and provide a hot meal and social activity and stuff. But that's different than the actual fund of general assistance. And I've talked to many townships about this. And it's been going on a long time. in townships and stuff, but it is very, very restrictive on what that can be spent on. And that's why it is so low on how much money is actually spent on that program. You brought up SNAP. Like, food assistance is not in the general assistance, all right? There are so many things. What it is you cannot, if you're on Social Security, if you're on Medicaid, if you're on basically any assistance program, then you don't qualify for general assistance, all right? You have to be a township resident. It's for rent and it's for water, mostly, those two things, and we try to weave in and out of what we can use it for. But it's not as easy as some people make it sound, like let's just go and help everybody with money and let's go have a whatever it is. It's not like that. And so it's by law, because again, it's the taxpayers' money that we're using then to give to other people that need assistance. So it's not like that we can take $500 and say, hey, food pantry, you guys do a great job. We're going to give you $500 to help administer food to people. That sounds like that would work, but that's not how the law works. What were you going to say?
State law sets.
Yes.
State law sets who receives that and what they receive, not township law. That's not our deal.
Right.
All we do is administer it and make sure that the people that apply are considered properly, and if they deserve a benefit, that benefit is delivered properly. That's all we do with general assistance.
Right. And even LIHEAP, people would think that's your energy assistance. We do LIHEAP out of the office. That's not general assistance. That doesn't come out of that fund whatsoever. It's a program that's paid for through the county. We're just helping the county. We actually get paid for that. We get $6 for every application. And you'll hear later when we go through the levy, but the money that comes in now for that, I've actually decided to put that into our food pantry. And so we'll get one check at the end of the year for ever how many LIHEAP applications we have. And then we're going to purchase more food for our pantry, because we have a system when people need some food, and maybe the food pantry, I believe, is only open 2 days a week. We're open 5 days a week. So if they come to our window, we have a system where we'll give them a bag of food. They can sign in and help them out. So anyway, but yeah.
About how many people do we have receiving general assistance from us right now?
There's one right now.
Yeah.
So it's just, and again,
There's not anything we're gonna do to help the public with that program.
I'm not gonna break the law.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna break the law, take your money and then break the law by giving it to somebody. It's just, that's not how it works, so anyway.
How are we governed by TOI?
TOI is like a lobbying
It's a
organization.
resource.
It's a resource, we're not governed by them?
No, we're
No,
covered by
they-
the state of Illinois.
I mean, what we love to call the book is just like
Right.
a plain English version of the statutes for us to reference.
I kind of thought that, I read through it, but I just wanted to verify that
Yeah, we're not governed by
it seemed like that we were, because there were some constituents that were concerned about that we weren't following the Township of Illinois guidelines so I'm glad you clarified that, thank you.
Yeah, it's just a plain English version of it.
And if anybody else wants to answer anything, feel free. If not, we'll move on. Yeah.
Back to FOIA for a second.
Yes.
So I'm back now. I'm perfectly willing to resume the FOIA duties. We had appointed you for 2 months. I would just ask if you don't mind, Bill, just to continue doing the ones that you've already opened, and I'll pick up with the new ones. My wife is in the hospital in Seattle for 5 weeks, but we've been back home since September 24th, so.
Good news.
I'm kind of more or less back in the same.
Thank you for doing that, Jim. Okay, moving on to new business.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead,
Before we
sorry.
start. I was just gonna ask, maybe, should we do C first since Kai's here?
Yeah, that's fine. You want to
Yeah.
make a motion to move that
Yeah, I'd
forward?
like to make a motion to, new business item C, move it to A.
We have a
Just to
second
get,
to move the agenda?
I'll second it.
Good. And just so you know, I think that makes sense because the cost of our insurance actually plays into what our levy is gonna be, so it does make sense. So, roll call?
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yep.
Crowell?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes, all right. Kai, you have the floor. This is Kai Redmond, Redmond Insurance, who has been doing our insurance, liability insurance. This is not health insurance. This is for our vehicles and our buildings and workman's comp, yes.
Respectfully, I don't want to be long-winded. I'm, be as brief as possible.
Yeah, and Kai and I met Monday, and I really appreciate all the work that he's put into this. This year, we've been able to get it, because December the 1st is our rollover date.
Correct.
And so we want to
Annual
get this
renewal, so,
taken care of.
I'll briefly go into this, but first, welcome to new board members, and then appreciate the years that had the insurance for the township. Deeply appreciate it. Hope to earn it again this year. Okay. So basically, we have you insured through ICRMT, Illinois County's Risk Management Trust, and that's the next page. Basically, talks a little bit about them. So it's the largest in Illinois, insuring public entities. Okay. But what's nice about it is they use a local agent, and that's what's nice, instead of having an agent who's maybe in a large town or community far away, there's not that personal relationship. So I get a call, boom, up to the township, at the same time I have the right insurance market, they call the insurance company, to be able to service all their needs. So, next page, I'm just flipping through this straight real quick. They have a gamut of risk management, loss control services, more so for roads and bridges that's available, and the physical side of it. The features and benefits page, next page, I instead of highlighting, I just made some real key, quick points. Under program highlights, if you see that, again, features and benefits page, has open door legal consultation. Again, this is specific to insurance, but that's what's nice about this. So if a situation arises, liability, for example, and township doesn't know whether or not to engage legal assistance, that's why they have this all available to you free of cost. So, and then who is the insured down below there? Again, this is page 7, if you will, the bottom page number. And directors, executive officer, volunteers, unpaid workers, least or temporary workers, board members, commissioners, trustees, council persons, employees, staff members, etc. So it's broad in scope. Next page, moving on, there's 2 bonds that we have in place. These renew in May. This is not part of the annual renewal insurance, but these are bond specific. And so you have those listed right there. We identified this a number of years ago. We were notified of this. So when we were notified of this requirement, we didn't place a requirement. It was a requirement placed on the township for the bond limits that are listed there. So you see the bond limit, and that is township. And then the next page is for road and bridges, and the bond limit for that as well. Okay. Moving on, this is just simply, this is a 1-page summary. I thought, how can you capture all this insurance in 1 page, especially for a new person looking at all this? So basically, if you look at this 1 page, it says ICRMT coverage summary. Everything from general liability all the way down to crime. It's all in 1 policy. Okay, so you have 2 policies. One is called a package policy. That's all your autos, buildings, property, all the liability, excess liability, mobile equipment, everything. It's packaged, and the very bottom is work comp policy. Okay, and these are all your limits to the right-hand side, and then parens is deductible for each. Okay, so it's just an attempt really for new board members to see this. I went through this the first year. It was long. It was long. You guys were patient with me, but I was trying to just show you how in-depth it was. Move on to the next page. I wanted to make you aware that so the last few years, it's not been, we've talked historically about claims. Frequency is number of claims, and severity is how much is paid out in a claim. So what's listed here is this year, and I've circled for you, a policy period 12/1 of 24 through 25. And you can see there are 2 work comp claims there, okay? So I've attempted to try to make it easy for you just to see. So there has been money that's been going out, okay? As far as the money comes in the form of premium paid, money going out. In any company, any insurance company, home insurance, auto insurance, money in versus money out in the form of claims, okay? So there's been two claims this year in work comp, and I'll turn the page. And then two claims under last policy periods, not this last year, but the year before. One was general liability and one was work comp. And I'll make you aware that general liability claim that I circled in the middle has been reopened. Okay. So, anyway, these are really what's driving money in, money out, premium you pay. So, that's just a quick summary. I'm just gonna skip this next page in the interest of time. This is from ICRMT representative email to me, but it's insignificant as far as, I'll turn to the next page. So the next page I'm looking at should look like this, yours, okay? See that page? I put this together because I want to show you all each year the history of what the premiums have been, okay? So, does everybody see that? So you can see since inception each year, it's broken down by two. It's work comp is one policy, and it's under line of insurance, and then the property and liability is the next other package policy. And you can see the annual premium next to each, starting the first year you started with me, and then the total premium, those two combined together for each year, okay?
And just so the public can understand, because they're probably like, geez, 2000, it looks like 10 and 11, our total premium was 128.
Mhm.
And that was for both road and bridge and the township. And then last year's was 141,596.
Yeah.
So I just want to get people kind of like what we're talking about here. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, what's candidly, what's happened is premium claims. Claims is really driving. It's the same thing with personal insurance, any type of insurance. Again, premium coming in, so premium started out at 128, started to increase, claims were up, and then claims went down, and then premium started to go down, and then claims started to go up again, okay? Thus, so premium in, premium out. So this is something I put together, one at the top to show you the premium each year, so I can see, and then whether or not how hard I need to push back on that, okay? And right now, as you can see down at the table down at the bottom, look at the premium, you can see the year at the bottom, you can see your total premium, okay? So this year is listed at the very bottom, you see that listed, okay? And then prior years, total incurred, what that means is money paid out in claims, okay? And then the next column over is loss ratio. So basically, in a nutshell, an insurance company is profitable. A lot of people think, okay, I've paid in $100,000 and they've paid me $90,000 in claims, so they made $10,000 on me, right? No. Basically, it's 50%. An insurance company has overhead, they have employees, they have costs, they have all that. So, for example, 50% is your break even in loss ratio. We've talked about this in prior years. So, for example, if you pay out $100,000 and the insurance company pays you $50,000, they've essentially broken even. They haven't made any money. If it's less than 50 they've paid out on you, then they're profitable. If it's over that 50%, then they're not. So again, if it's $100,000 and they pay $90,000, even though it sounds like, hey, they made $10,000 on me, not at all. They're not near profitable. So basically, where you're at for this last year is your loss ratio was 109%. And then the year prior to that, 2 years ago, was 115%. So again, more money was going out in the form of claims than what came in the form of premium. Thus, it impacted the premium this year, okay? So that's really why you see the top box, your premium for this year has gone up. It's really because of the claims, and it's severity of a few claims, or soft tissue claims. So, and that's just simple, it's the numbers, that's what's driving it, okay? But as you can see, the 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, excellent. I mean, they had no claims. So you had a really good run, you saw the premiums go down. Claims jump up, premium jumps up. That's how it works, okay? And then a number of years ago, you had a huge loss ratio that was due to hail and a general liability claim for that, so. But anyway, so, and the next page is simply what I use to track. It's showing you that right here, in this box right here, and this was the box on the other page. When you look at the total since 2017, 2018, your loss ratio is on average 75%. Okay, so in the last few years, it's jumped up, and this is showing is by line of insurance. So everything on the left-hand side, it's hard to read, but everything is in the package policy. That's all your property, your liabilities, everything. And then the work comp is on the right-hand side, and that box is underneath. And that's what I use. But do I go back and push back against them to try to get them a better price? Because I'm fighting the advocate, I want to try to keep it I want to keep your business. And so I use this to do that. And this year with the claims in last year, so overall your average tracking it since the 2017, 2018, you can see that you can see the total amount of premium paid during that period. You can see the total incurred during that period, and then what your loss ratio is, again, 75%. So.
And just so everybody knows, the total premium over the last, what is that, 9 years? Or is, yes, is 935,000 we've paid, and we've incurred, though, that the insurance has paid is 701,000. And that's how he comes up with the 75%. So.
Yeah, it's money in, money out, so 935,000 respectfully, transparency-wise. You know, that's since 2017, 2018 to this year. So that's a lot of money that they paid in premium, but then a lot's gone out, and it's been in claims. So it's thus far not breaking even. So, but again, you had some great years prior to that, I'm sure you'll in the future, so, okay.
And just so the board knows, especially for the new members, this is broken out into Road and Bridge has a segment, the office has a segment, and the assessors has a segment. But we actually cover the assessors segment. So there's just basically, there's two bills that we pay. And Kai just in
Do we have that?
day, yes, we do.
Yeah, it's all on.
Yep, no, right here.
I didn't make a copy for it, I apologize.
All right.
But
I just need to see it.
I get it.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
one here.
there's
Yeah. But basically, what it is this year is the road and bridge premium would be 119,077.
That's fine.
The office, township office would be 30,060, and the assessor's office is 27,685. And so it's broken out, and I guess, again, it's buildings, it's vehicles, workman's comp, so it's all broken out.
Yeah.
So,
It's,
All right.
So this is the last couple of years, as a couple of pages we've been through, that have driven the
Yeah.
program for this year.
and it usually takes about, what, 5 years for things to drop off?
Yeah, yeah, it does. So you start to see a trend down, but if you're profitable, then I have more leverage against them. When you're not, meaning I get more claims, I don't have as much leverage because
Right.
they're trying to put money in, money out. So when I, in this case, did not have that much.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, just for the people in the audience and that, you know, a lot of people look at these numbers and think they're high, but if you just take, let's say, the road and bridges, one piece of equipment could be that much money, you know, 119,000. So they gotta realize that, you know, people are looking, well, it seems like a lot, but one piece of equipment alone, you know, just gets destroyed or fire or whatever, you know, the buildings, everything we have, so it's really at a good price, I think, considering what we have to, you know, to work with as far as
Right.
equipment
Well,
and buildings.
And it's our duty to protect their assets, the
Yes,
taxpayers'
yeah.
assets, you know,
Yes.
so we have to have it, you know,
Yep.
insured properly.
I gotta hand it to the roads and bridges in the township. I mean, the equipment over the years, the upkeep of equipment, how hard, how great everything looks. I know it sounds like I'm blowing smoke, but I'm out in the township all the time. I mean, I'm out up and down your street, you know, so it just, you you know, they work very hard. There's a lot of equipment, there's a lot of exposure without people doing physical work. Costs a lot of money, and there's a lot going on. So respectfully, I appreciate the opportunity when I earn this, and I respect it every year, and we want to continue hopefully to earn that, and that we have that posture every year. That we're not just gonna, because we're local here maybe, we have to continue to work hard, we have to continue to earn it. And that means also going back against the company and pushing back at the best price that we can get for the township, making sure they have the right coverage at the same time, because it's a very unique, specialized insurance. And there's only a few places, markets that offer that, so it's
So the-
nice to have a local.
So the bottom line is 176,822. You got it.
Yep. Thank you for all your help too, Kai. Go ahead, guys.
Can you explain briefly, I know it's
Sure.
deep, but, work comp, how does that work?
Yeah, that's that last page. So
Yeah, cause I mean, the last 5 years, I've been through the whole, and
Oh, yeah.
Sedgwick, yeah.
So, if you go to the last page.
Okay.
I apologize.
Maybe I'm distracted.
You guys didn't get this last page?
That's probably-
Page 20.
Chicken scratch me,
Oh,
Yeah.
I have this, okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was what I was trying to show us. There you go, good. That is actually meat and potatoes of work comp. So here's payrolls of different codes, okay? And the largest one, obviously, street and bridges. But then they have the highest exposure, so there's your rate for every $100 of payroll. So what you see in my handwritten notes is payrolls from last year, rates from last year, and here's premium. And what the easiest thing in the world, I'm not a math person, is you take it's a rate per $100 of payroll. So you take the payroll, divide by 100, times the rate, equals that premium. Okay? And it's, the codes are for different exposure, because obviously a clerical code has less exposure, so it's a lower rate. And then there's pricing variables built in down here. For example, your experience modification rate, right there, when you compare yourself against the industry, it was really good, and now it's on the upward rise a little bit. It's still better than the industry average at 0.87, and it was 0.78 last year.
Okay.
So that's a discount actually of 9%. Okay. So overall, is that?
Yeah, it does a little bit, I mean, in my experience, it was state said you have to pay 60% of the pay and et cetera, so, I'll look at it.
So yeah, it's
Any
like,
other questions?
but yeah, the higher the payroll, the more of the insurance premium there's gonna be, to cover.
Yeah, the payroll went up, so that was another driver.
Yeah.
Obviously, payroll goes up, then premium goes up, so the more you pay, that's one factor, so.
All right.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, we can have a motion, and then vote on this.
Is it, motion to approve 2025 R15.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call.
Okay, trustee Sewell,
Yes.
Crowell,
Yes,
Prosser,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes, thank you so much, Kai, for all your help in reaching
thanks,
out and
Kai.
working with me through this.
My appreciation
Great
for your
job.
continued business, it's not taken for granted, means a lot, so thank you.
Thanks. Okay, now a presentation of the township levy and the road district levies. These are just presentations. We can talk about them, chat about them, and then we can even make tweaks between now and when we vote on them in December. Who wants to go first? You want me to go first, Kathy, or would you like to go first?
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about mine, but
Okay,
I move.
well, maybe I should wear them out first and then, then you can go.
Basically, my levy is, I have not, the only thing that I'm raising on my levy this year is the insurance fund.
Because of Kai.
Yeah. Because of, a lot of reasons,
Yeah.
but, anyway, right now, I have like no, what's the word I'm looking for? No surplus at all in it. So right now, depending on what taxes we collect, I don't even know if I'm gonna have enough to pay this, cause all of our taxes have not come through. So, anyway, I'm raising that 20,000. Beyond that, my levy is not being raised at all. All the others remain the same, the general fund, the audit, yes.
Do you expect as much expenditures on asphalt, concrete this year, or getting over this project out here on Lebanon Avenue?
Yeah, I've got, 2 or 3 jobs that are gonna be asphalted next year.
Are they as
Out
big
for
as
bids?
that?
No.
So
No.
that expenditure might go down a little bit.
No, I haven't put any money into Lebanon Road. The only thing that I did with Lebanon Road was purchase the easements
I got you.
and the properties. That was all that, my role in it was. The county and the state are the one, taking care of this project.
Good. Awesome.
So, they've worked, really hard with me to take care of all the expense except for that. And I paid for all that out of MFT funds. So I do have MFT funds that I can use up too.
Do you know the overall increase that is with the increase you have for
I
insurance?
didn't figure the percentage wise, but I know that we can go up to 5% and.
Without a special, you can go over, but,
Right,
you know.
right, yeah, but even, if I went 5%, you'd be talking,
Well, that's overall for your entire
The entire
levy, not
levy.
just that fund.
Not that fund, right?
Right.
20,000 is a very minor number on
Yeah,
your total levy.
Did you-
No, it would be less than 2%.
yeah, yeah. Cause I know that, if I increased at least about 5, it would be over 50,000, probably closer to.
And just so
55,
that
60.
everybody knows, what number are we talking? The overall?
20,000.
You mean your total?
Yeah,
Total number?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I could get the answer.
brought my readers up. 1,276,500 is my total. Thank you.
Yeah, so like 22,000 would be 2%.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah.
I didn't wanna have to raise it at all, but.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's funds when I'm gonna get to that I've had to raise,
Yeah,
so.
unfortunately. it's
But yeah,
just-
we have a month to look it over, and then you got a month to reach out to Kathy if you have any questions. And then we can bring it to the board and vote on it, in December.
Otherwise than that, like I said, everything has stayed the same.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
so,
All right. I just wanna put out there how I do, the levy. I know that some municipalities and boards and stuff, they look at the EAV, meaning the value of homes, and I am very much against that, because that's the reason that our property taxes continue to skyrocket. Because when the value of everybody's homes, all right, in the last year, in the multiplier, you see it on your white card that comes out, goes up 9%. That's without assessment. Everybody's went up 9%. That means, let's just say, I'll take the school district, for example. Let's say they are tax levying $100 million. In just 1 year, what they can do then, because the EAV went up 9%, they can say, well, we're gonna raise the tax levy 9%, and we didn't raise your taxes. Because the tax rate then for your house stayed the same. But guess what? In that $100 million, they got $9 million more in just 1 year. Now just imagine if you do that year after year after year. Okay, so if municipalities would start levying only what they need instead of what they can actually get, then our taxes wouldn't necessarily go down. The tax rate would go down. But we've got to do something as a whole to stop the steady, steep increase. And so we can only do so much, because people come to me and say, well, my taxes didn't go down. You said that you'd lower taxes. Well, we're only the township board, okay? And so I'm very proud, in the 4 years, our taxes, not the rate has, if you look at the graphs and all of them, townships has decreased the most, but our dollar amount has actually went down. This year, and I can tweak it, but there is a very slight increase of around 2%. And I just want to let you guys know, I'm not looking at EAV We could raise it up to 8% and say our tax rate stayed the same. But my experience is you give the government more money, the government will find a way to spend it, okay? So we are very responsible here. Also, when you're looking at the levy, I want everybody to keep this in mind. The county doesn't look at each line item, okay? They only look at that whole fund, and they send it to that fund. So we're talking, in the town's levy, 6 different funds, okay? The different line items in these funds are really more for me or us as a guideline to help decide how much money we need. But let's just say in our general fund, if we are levying $1 million, then we can take personnel, we could take commodities, we can move that money around. That money comes into that general fund, okay? The county doesn't care. They send it to that. Same thing with Social Security, IMRF. Those are called restricted funds. You can only use that money for that purpose. And that's what I've been saying all along. Our general assistance fund, a lot of people don't realize this, that is a restricted fund. You can only use it for those specific items that fall under general assistance. And so, let's go through it here. I won't take a whole lot of time, but I put in the salary increases each year. Our office and senior center, we have with our union contract a built-in 3% salary increase. So I built that in there. I know the assessors have a built-in 5% salary increase. So we honored that, of course, because that is our contract, and we built that in there. So all of that is in that. So basically 5 and 3%, we ate that cost, but we're able to do that because we still have a nice surplus. When we get to the bills, as you'll see, in our general town fund, we have $937,000 in that account right now. That does not take in effect the CDs that we have, okay, that we could turn in, but they're getting great interest, so leave them be. Also, just want to mention, there's a nice over a year surplus in the general town fund. If you needed to transfer money from the general town fund to a restricted fund, you can do that. You cannot take money from a restricted fund and move it into the general fund. And the reason that makes sense is if somebody says, well, there's not enough money in IMRF, let's just say. I would rather keep that fund as tight as possible because you cannot move money. When I got in here, we had in some of these funds, we had an 11-year surplus. You can only have a 2.5-year surplus in those funds. So you're stuck with it. The money's sitting in there. You can't do anything with it. By law, you can't spend it certain ways. It's just stuck in there, okay? So if that makes sense. So then moving on, our audit fund, I put down $6,000 for that account. Just so you know, our audit will be right around $6,700 for the town, and we have $6,700 in that account right now. But we have not been billed this year for this year's audit. So that money's gonna go out. We'll have $6,000 coming back in, so we'll be good. Insurance fund. I might actually be able to tweak this, because I thought the number was gonna be a little higher on the town fund, so that's why I wanted you to go first. So I put down $70,000, but the good thing is we levied $85,000 last year. And right now in town insurance, we have $70,000. So it looks like our bill is gonna be about $56,000. So we're gonna have about $15,000 left in that account, and still we have money coming in from last year's levy of $85,000. So if we wanted to tweak anything as far as so far tonight, I would say we could actually tweak that down. But it is good to have a little bit of surplus, okay? I like to run on a 6-month to a year surplus in each account. The IMRF account, this was very confusing to me, and I'm working with our accountant on this. Our IMRF, that's Illinois Municipal Retirement Account, it will show in the budget that we spend about $80,000 a year. And so you're saying, well, how in the heck can we only levy 6,000 and there's only, let's see, what do we have in there now? $8,000 in that account. We're only spending the money, we only spend, I think it's 0.08, is that the?
It's low.
Yeah, it's very low because we've always kept on top of it. We have to budget it because it comes out of the employee's salary, then it goes to the IMRF, so we have to budget that, but we actually only pay 0.08%. So I levied $6,000 for that. Our Social Security Fund, because I made that transfer per the new accountant's recommendation to the town fund, we are a little low in that, and Don and I have been watching that as tax money comes in. We're at $14,000 right now as far as the bank balance. And our average expenditure looks like it's gonna be right around $61,000, okay? But we have $60,000 coming in for the rest of the year. So we're gonna be, it's tight, but it's gonna be fine. I levied $70,000 for that. So as it goes out, new money will come in, okay? General assistance, I levied, this is the first time that we're even able to levy anything because this account had over $100,000 in it in years past. And again, you cannot levy if you already have 2.5 years surplus in that account. So this year we levied $49,000 in that account. Okay, and right now we have $58,000 in that account. All right, so that money's gonna go out, new money's gonna come in. So overall, if you add up all the different levies, the general, the audit, insurance, IMRF, Social Security, and public assistance tax, it's at $1,201,000. I've also attached last year's levy, so you can see the difference. Last year's levy was $1,031,635. So it is a difference of right at 2% overall. And again, we can, if you have any questions, concerns in the next month, reach out, or you can bring them up now and I can explain anything that I can.
Oh, I see.
Everybody good?
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm happy.
So
See you.
that was just for presentation. We'll move on now to the consent agenda. Oh, no, sorry. Approval of the Collinsville Food Pantry. They had their rock and roll bingo over the weekend. I heard it was a really good success and it was a lot of fun. Jim, I know you're there, and some other people I know that were there as well. They said it was a lot of fun, but we were a sponsor in that, and I wanted to put it on the agenda to make sure that the board was good with that sponsorship. And there's a resolution number there if you'd like to make a motion.
I motion that we approve resolution 2025-R14.
Great.
I'll say. You
Okay.
did such a good job.
And roll call.
Trustee Crowell,
Yes.
Prosser,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes. Okay, consent agenda. We're going to be voting on items A through E. Clerk.
Right, so from last month, you have the regular meeting minutes, and then you have the regular monthly reports from the assessor, the highway commissioner, the supervisor, and myself.
So,
It's the reports, yeah.
Motion to approve consent agenda A through E as provided by the clerk.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Trustee Prosser,
Yes.
Ball,
Yes.
Sewell,
Yes.
Crowell,
Yes.
Supervisor Cox.
Yes. Okay, approval of bills, thank you. Just let everybody know, all the bills are online each month. Craig is amazing. Within about 5 minutes, he's got them up there when I send it to him. And we will start with General Assistance Clerk.
Right, first line, general assistance, we had expenditures for the month of $4,074.63.
Motion we approve that expenditure.
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Crowell?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Road and Bridge had expenditures for the month of $149,533.75.
I motion we approve that expenditure.
I'll second it.
Okay, no questions, roll call?
Trustee Sewell?
Yes.
Crowell?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Road and Bridge Equipment did have an expenditure last month of $108,856.32.
What was that for again, Kathy?
The equipment one,
Yeah.
let's see, I didn't hear what the numbers were.
Yeah.
108,856.
Get a new toy?
I don't know, I don't have that one in here. Oh, 108, okay. Yeah, the Deere and Company we got our new tractor came in.
Nice.
Sloan Implement was the mower, and then that Apex Technologies was an upgrade for our paver, so that it has more controls on it to run it without having to, it just makes it a better application.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, motion, and.
I'll second.
Okay.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Crowell?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Town fund had monthly expenditures of $101,773.13.
Now motion we approve that expenditure.
I had a question here.
Yeah.
So I was reading your report,
Mhm.
Janice had resigned on the 8th, and
Mhm.
we still paid her the week after that. Is there a
Uh,
particular reason for that, or?
Yes, I don't know if, I don't know if we wanna mention that in, open session. Is it something that I can mention? I don't know.
I don't know what the reason is, so.
Oh.
I mean,
If it's just the,
does
the payroll
is there
run
a
after the,
Well, it does run after,
is there a separation agreement or something
Yes,
that
there
you
is.
can share?
Yes, but I just don't wanna, there is a separation agreement per our attorney, their attorney that we hired for the,
gotcha.
yeah. So I just don't know, it was 2 weeks, I was told to pay 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Mhm.
almost everybody's a couple weeks.
I just
now.
asked.
No, I was just, I just don't wanna say something that, I'm
Okay.
out of line with an employee,
That's fine.
okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, if I have further questions, I'll follow
Yeah,
up
you
with
can ask me, yeah. Okay,
Need a second.
first, we have a motion and,
Mr. Sewell made a motion.
I'll second.
okay, roll call?
Trustee Prosser?
Yes.
Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Crowell?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Finally, Senior Center had expenditures for the month of $9,983.41.
And I just do wanna mention, a lot of those costs sometimes are, costs that we will actually get back. We put out, if it's taking the bus in for service and things, we have a grant, but we don't turn those receipts in until the end of the year, and then they reimburse us, if it's for hourly time for the drivers and things like that. So, just because it shows as an expense, doesn't necessarily mean that you see the money coming back in. And our lunch money continues to do really well.
Need a motion?
I'll
second.
Okay, roll call?
Trustee Ball?
Yes.
Sewell?
Yes.
Crowell?
Yes.
Prosser?
Yes.
Supervisor Cox?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, reports by officers and committees. Here comes Kathy.
Right now, we are getting ready to vacuum. Well, we started this week. I did, unfortunately, leaves are falling later and later.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
I'm
do.
almost to the point where I don't know, we might get through one time, that's probably about it this year, so. The other thing is we've got the, guess it'd be the trailer mounted mile-per-hour sign. They did get that in, they haven't gotten it to us yet. So there's a few things they have to do before they get it to us. We ordered a couple of signs for, East Country Lane, and they are huge, so, we're gonna put those up there. We can monitor them and that. With it being rural, I think it'll be okay. But there's been a couple of complaints in some other areas that I might put up temporary ones, but they're gonna be a little bit smaller than, these will be, so, we talked about that today. I just got back from the TOI convention, and that was really good. There's a lot of sessions, and, I find I actually probably learn a lot just talking with people and what they do and some of the things they've got going on in that when I'm there. I honestly feel like I get a little more at the Highway Commissioners Convention every year, because it's strictly highway commissioners. So, you know, there's a lot of, different things that are totally geared towards them, where with this, they try to gear it towards everybody. So, some of the sessions were roles of, you know, each trustee, supervisor, highway commissioner, clerk, all that. And I sat in on some of the different bills and that are going, you know, being tossed around at the state right now, but nothing really clear was said about anything, just some different things they're talking about. What else did I say? They had a great speaker. He was a previous baseball player. He was a pitcher years ago. I can't remember his name right at the moment, my memory. But anyway, he was funny, and I kind of walked in like a couple minutes late, so I didn't even catch the name in the beginning, but he had wrote a book, and I was looking at that. And but he was a great speaker. I mean, a lot of people were impressed with him, and sometimes I said, yeah, look at everybody's head straight, nobody's looking at their phones, you can tell he's a great speaker, so. But anyway, that was good, and beyond that, we're just really busy. You know, we just always have things going on. Oh, and I figured it out on our levy, and we're probably at about 1.6% is what our increase is, so. Beyond that, I really don't have much more to say.
All right, thanks.
Oh, and if anybody has any questions, if you have any questions about the workman comp, if I can help you understand that better, I would gladly do that. But as Kai had said, our experience rate is a lot higher because our guys are out on the jobs doing work, where the office workers is a lot lower experience rate, so.
Yeah.
But, anyway, if there's any questions or, all right?
Thanks. Okay, next, our assessor, he submitted a report, and I just want to say, I invite Pete to come to any meetings. Speaking as a taxpayer, I really wish that he would attend a meeting. I know the person who actually ran for office, he's been at almost every single meeting, he doesn't have to be. But I really wish he would, so if we have any questions, but the report is there. Move on to trustees.
I'd like to say something. Now I look at it, we probably should have done this before approval of last month's regular meetings. Last month, I was using myself as, we were talking about the assessor's office, and I said, you know, I turned 65, you know, if I had turned, I was using me, if I turned 65 years old last week, I would go in the office to get some assistance. I am not 65 years old. So, I just want to make sure everybody understands. You know, I know I've just used myself, maybe I shouldn't use myself, but just letting you know in the meeting, or in the...
Yeah, I put that in there. That's what
Okay.
I took it.
On
I
the
took it.
minutes.
You look kind of old.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. So, in the minutes, that's all I wanted to say on that. So, yeah, I'm not 65, I did not go do that.
What are you, 64?
Working on it. So that's that. You know, again, just being new and hearing things. Again, I've been working for the city, dealt with other, you know, board meetings and all that stuff. And I guess my biggest thing is what I'm hoping that we keep, or try to keep doing, is when we talk about transparency. And over the years, I mean, it's been everybody. Everybody, as elected officials, I want to talk about transparency, everything's transparency. And over the years, not just here, through my life of dealing with this, I've seen some transparency's been kind of cloudy and even muddy. And what I mean by that is, I just want to have clear transparency. I want everybody to understand, no matter what side you're on, or if it's not even on this board, what we see, what we hear, and what we get, read about is clear transparency. That means nothing getting twisted, nothing being partial, and I think this board really, we need to make sure that we are making sure that we're here, just like we talked about the levies, wanting to keep everything down, is transparency for the community. So my way of saying it is just, we need to be here at clear transparency, and that goes for outside of the board. But I just feel that transparency, people use that as a word, oh, I'm being transparent. And again, I've seen it everywhere, not just here, but everywhere. And it's a shame because, in my life, I've seen it, read it, been there, and that just kind of bugs me as far as being transparent. I want to see clear transparency for everybody in our community.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I agree, and that's, when I first got involved, that was my biggest thing. But sometimes, and I don't know if it's society today, but people can sometimes I feel like I'm over-transparent. I tell you every single little detail, and then they can take a clip of a little piece of detail and then spin it in a way that's not transparent, that's not factual. And so I'm with you. I just want just the facts, and then people can make up their own minds and just realize all of us are here. We're not here for the money. We are here for the community. And if this board fails, then the community fails.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Yep.
All right, I just got a couple things to say, really about one thing. What are you laughing at?
Just the way you said it.
First off, I want to apologize for the post-meeting outburst that happened last month. Derek and I have spoke. We both agree that for the betterment of the community, that we're going to work hard together to make sure nothing of that magnitude happens again. So,
I
thanks.
appreciate that, and I agree. Thank you, Clark. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just, Mike and I had a meeting this afternoon, working on the community garden. Again, it's a project in the discussion phase. But we did run into some great things that I think that Rachel would be pleased about, because I know that, she's concerned with the community and the people within the community. So what we discussed was that, we have to have a design, and, we are putting together a lot of things that, step by step, we'll look at grants, we'll have to come. The first thing, it's gonna be design, and then it's gonna be putting together, what it would cost for the materials for that design, that sort of thing. We are asking the community if there is anyone that would like to volunteer to be a part of a community garden, or that has had experience. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And we'd like to talk to the seniors, maybe have time to go ahead and talk to the
Yeah.
seniors. And thing that we discussed today, which was real interesting, to the University Extension was working with us along with Willoughby Farms, is the possibility of growing food and then coupling with the senior center, or even actually maybe something later in the evening, but maybe during the day, where seniors could couple with young mothers or whoever in a family that would like. So if we do have a period of time where we struggle with like the federal government or the state government running out of funds, that we could actually teach how to use the food. Willoughby reported today an excess of so much food that ended up in a compost. It was wasted because they give it to the pantries, they give it out. However, people don't know how to use it. They don't know how to bake a butternut squash and make soup, or, they're not used to spending their funding that way, so maybe like some kind of education, and maybe the social services could work, along with that. I do also wanna remind us that, when government feeds you, government can take it away. So when the government has it, and who feeds the government is the taxpayers. So, we have to, I think that education is gonna be a really big thing, for us. Thank you for explaining the general assistance. I think that a lot of people believe that, general assistance is to support of some people when they're in a rough patch. It's a hand up during a rough patch, but, the townships of Illinois, I appreciate that they don't govern us, in regard to that, but the state does, am I understanding that correctly?
Correct.
The state governs us in regard to that. So, the garden, I think, is a great idea, and we're hoping that that could, be a big part.
So, yeah, and I appreciate you guys meeting today, and so what I'll do is I'll get with you guys individually, but let me know just what the next steps are. And I will let you know, again, in years, we got another year and a half, 1 year, a full year to pay on the parking lot. But then after that, we're gonna have about $35,000 a year from the county. And we could also go out and get another, it's basically like a PEP grant loan, where we say, hey, for 5 years, instead of just giving us the 35 grand a year, just give us all 5 years. They'll also pay the interest, and then we'll give you one lump sum. Okay, so that's one avenue. I know SIUE had a grant out there, and then I just got another one, MCT. They've been awesome with the Volkswagen and other things. They're one of the only, I'll just say it, it's public knowledge, they're one of the only entities out there in the entire county that has nice surpluses. Paul, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident in saying that. And so they're always looking for ways to do more. So they just sent me something the other day with grant opportunities. So they could possibly be involved as well. So just let me know and we'll work it, okay?
So, and to your point, Rachel, just for transparency, I don't mind, I won't be shy. Twice, I have been on assistance in my life. Once my husband broke his back. The second time, I recently had a knee injury on a job, and I was off for 4 years until they completely rebuilt it. Yes, not SNAP, but I did have to use our fund for electricity at one point. It was very helpful to help me up. However, it wasn't ours. Again, it was through an Ameren situation. But as you're helping people in the community, we have an amazing website, and there's so many resources on there that anyone can access. But some people need assistance in telling them what those are. Some people don't have a phone to look up what the assistance is throughout the community. In addition to that, Tara is amazing. If someone needs help, she's so good to go in and talk to about those things. I mean, that's really great. But the difference between myself and maybe others, and from working with people, was my family taught me how to do things. Not everybody's that fortunate, where their families teach them how to cook, teach them how to budget, things of that nature. So when I was in a tight spot, I was very able. It really helped my family out. We lived very comfortably and well. People who maybe don't know how to budget, I could see where that could be a struggle too. So I think education is really a big key. Unfortunately, as a township that I've seen as a newbie, that's not something that we provide to the community. Other than to sit down and actually have classes, and I don't know that we have the resources to do that. So for someone to educate, but.
I appreciate the transparency, and it may not always be a township answer. That could be something with the city or the library to combine for Medicaid or SNAP, you know, those aren't recipients for GA, but just meaning those are people that struggle with poverty, right? And knowing those struggles, because education, I agree with you, is a key piece. And, you know, there is the assumption that, you're right, that sometimes people do not have the education, but there is also the assumption that people in poverty don't know how to budget. And actually, I would make the argument that people who have to scrape by to survive are actually some of the people that are most efficient with funds, because they have to make them last, right? So there's a lot you can say on the other side there. So when we all gain education, we learn all together, right? And I love the community garden idea. I don't know if you have a spot for it, probably not this early on. But
We do, right across the street.
Oh, okay, cool, so it would be
Yeah.
bus line accessible, but yeah, I think that's important.
All right, thank you guys. All right.
And I do have one more thing to say.
Okay.
In regard to the levy, how many entities levy for this money? There's us, there's the township, the road and bridge, there's the school, there's the library.
Oh, you're talking on your tax bill?
Yes.
Every taxing body.
Yes.
Every taxing body levies.
Yeah, and it's due by December, basically the 31st, right?
End of December.
Yeah.
30th.
So to what you were saying is this, if we all look at it as you're saying, oh, well, there's this 9% increase, we want the 9%. And every one of those entities say, oh, well, let's go for that money. We are asking our friends and our families to give that money. And if you own homes, you're gonna give that money out. If you rent homes, your rent's gonna go up to cover those funds. They have to come from somewhere. So we need to be frugal, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Kathy. You guys are so good with your budgets, and the assessor's office this time was so great with explaining where their money is.
I would encourage, I know we have some people that are very involved in this room. I would encourage you to go to other meetings and ask them about their levies and their budgets, because the one excuse that I get, and I don't like the excuse, well, we're the smallest one on the tax bill. We are. So you're paying attention, some people are paying attention to the smallest one, when you got the 80% right here and nobody's going to that meeting asking questions, okay? And so I would encourage people in this room, this board, to go to those meetings and just look and find out, do the, because this is where our taxes are going, and like Margot said, it affects everybody. And in my opinion, it affects, let's just call it the lowest income the hardest.
Yep.
All right, it always, if you raise the taxes on, say, a landlord, you say, well, they got money or whatever. They're not just gonna eat it, they're gonna pass it on to their tenant, okay? And so same thing, if you could say corporations, oh, let's just raise the taxes, let's get them. Well, they're just gonna raise the price of bread and milk by 10 cents, and then it gets everybody. It always goes downhill. Okay, so now we're in the.
CSE,
Yeah.
anything on the CSE?
CSC, let me hit it real quick. We had a great Halloween party. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it's really one of the biggest reasons that I do what I do. It was amazing. The costumes, everything. We were up at the Fall Fest. We had a record-breaking year, raised over $1,200. Margot, I know you came up and some other folks came up, so really appreciate the volunteers. And that's a great family event up on Main Street. Our Mondays are starting to move up. That was the whole thing with the Queen of Hearts and everything. And last Monday we had over 50 people, because Mondays for some reason it's just been a struggle. So that's been great. We awarded another CSC Superstar. We have 6 now, and these people they're kind of like ambassadors. They're seniors, but when new folks come in, they meet them, they introduce them, they let them know what's going on, and they're almost like a little employee, but they're great. And so we awarded another one of those. I got a card from St. Peter and Paul thanking us for using the Volkswagen, and we got some more people that we're trying to get that out to. I wrote a note, oh yes, the first week in December, we're working with the city of Collinsville, and that'd be the leaf and limb pickup. And so hopefully all the leaves will be down by then, and all you gotta do, if you live in the city of Collinsville, is put them out. There's some restrictions on how to do it. Just read the information that comes out, and they'll pick them up. Go ahead.
In the city, you gotta be bagged.
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
in
the
a,
township, you can just rake them to the.
correct,
But in the city, they have to be bagged.
yes, in a
Spread
paper
the
bag,
news.
yes.
Spread the news.
Okay, that's all I have on the senior center. Clerk, you have something?
No.
Okay. So then supervisors report, I'll make this quick. I worked a lot on the levy, looking at our budget, looking at our bank balances and what we plan on moving forward. I had saw some questions about the audit. It was in my supervisor's report, but I do not remember a year that we actually had our audit turned in from our auditors on time.
Not since I've been around, we haven't.
And so I just want everybody to know, and our auditor would absolutely agree, first of all, there was an extension filed, as they've done every single year. I got them with Don's help, with Kathy and Jen's help. We got them all their information in early June, okay? Everything's been there. Just recently, over the last, I would say, month and a half, we've been getting a lot of requests. We need this document, we need that document, a lot with Road and Bridge, and we got all their stuff to them. IMRF, receipts, invoices, and I've ran them up there several times. But everything's fine, they've filed the extensions, so I'm just waiting for it to come in. I'm guessing by next meeting.
The one thing for next year is the state of Illinois now has passed a law. If we're late again in the future, we will be fined. Everybody will be fined. Once you file though, you can get your fines back, so.
Oh,
I
see.
guess it's kind of a push for, because there are some people that don't do it, even though by law.
So
they
even
have
if
to.
you file the extension, you'll get fined?
Well, yeah, if we don't file with the clerk by September 30th, next year, we will get a fine. Now, that might be $100 fine, I don't know.
Well, I don't know,
But once we
but-
file, they will reimburse us the fine. It's
I see.
just
Okay.
another,
Well, I'll let
another silly.
our auditor know. So, anyway, LIHEAP, we're getting a lot of LIHEAP requests. We had, like I said, last year, probably right at the very most, the meeting I went to, there was a church entity down in Madison and Granite that was like right tied with us. But for some reason, we get a lot of requests and people coming in from other townships, because not all townships do it. So we're getting folks from Alton, from Edwardsville, from other places coming in. We have been able to serve them, because again, this is not mandated that we do this. We just do this because we believe it's the right thing to do, and the township has done it since I've been here. So anyway, but we're returning all the calls.
So how many did we do last year, you said? Did you tell?
I can't remember the exact number, but what it is, we got, last year was like $4 per application.
Right.
The county pays us. This year we're up to $6. And us as a staff, we just kind of were chatting one day and decided that'd be we'll take that money and put that into our food pantry.
So we hire, or, do you know, an idea of where we're at, from this year, from last year? Is there more people coming in needing help, is what I'm asking?
No, last year it was very busy. It's seniors and disabilities, special, if you have a shut-off notice.
Right.
You go to the front of the line.
Right.
And then we just schedule appointments, and they come in with their paperwork, we file it, and then once a week, we run it up to the county. Now, the county, sometimes they're further behind than we are, so we're usually ahead of that. But we're scheduling right now about 3 weeks out. But if it is a disconnect notice, we'll get them in.
But there are a lot of other people that can help people with the application process. They don't have to come to us, but.
You can go anywhere.
We've been good about doing it, so a lot of people come here, but like, I get Southwest Illinois Co-op, and they send out a list, country mile long, of places where people can go to seek assistance in applying, so. For life.
I guess it's a good thing, but sometimes I wonder, Tara, and it brought it up, is so nice that people come back because they wanna talk
It's
to
a good
her,
thing.
you know, so it's a
She's
good
really
thing.
awesome,
Right,
yeah.
so, but she takes the time,
Yeah.
you know, and
she's
the
really
effort,
good.
so. That's all I have, I believe. Is there any other questions? If not, well, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a motion?
No.
I just put it on there for.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
All in
I'll
favor?
second it. Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.
Clint, you got one more to sign if you don't mind. You skipped one.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. There's two you skipped. I didn't know if you did that on purpose.